This Indianapolis 500 betting picks edition of the NASCAR Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Edge Boost, the bank account built for bettors. Sign up today at edgeboost.bet with promo code SGPN and get a $25 deposit bonus.
Driver, start your engine!
Strap in and pull those belts up tight as the Sports Gambling Podcast Network presents the NASCAR Gambling Podcast.
I'm just gonna put my foot on the floor and I'm not lifting till I see God or a checkered flag.
My man.
With all the news and the best bets for your NASCAR weekend.
We want to thank you tonight for these mighty machines that you brought before us. Thank you for the Dodges and the Toyotas. Thank you for the Fords. Lord, I want to thank you for my smoking hot wife tonight, Lisa. In Jesus' name, boogity, boogity, boogity.
Now, here are your hosts, Rod Villagomez and Cody Zeeb.
Welcome in to another episode of the NASCAR Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. It is a NASCAR gambling special, as today we are taken over by the IndyCar Gambling Podcast, those rogue guys that like to pop up only for the Indianapolis 500 and then duck back into their hidey holes afterwards. But late night, Cody, it is we're burning the midnight oil in some cases to bring you IndyCar action because, well, first and foremost, it's the most awesomest week in all of racing. And second of all, we'd be remiss if we didn't bring you Indy 500 betting picks.
It is the greatest spectacle in racing, the largest, the largest attended sporting event in the world. And, viewership is absolutely insane for this race. And it's a big deal. It's part of the greatest weekend in racing, which gets kicked off tomorrow, Rod, with the Weenie 500. Make sure you go over to our YouTube page. I did upload a short with my picks for the DraftKings contest, so make sure you check that out. I am rather excited for the Weenie 500. It's gonna be great. But yeah, it's a great weekend of racing, and Indy 500 is, we're NASCAR guys, right? If you're new to the show, you're checking it out because you're an IndyCar person. We're NASCAR guys. That's what we do each and every week, multiple times a week. But I love all types of racing, all forms of racing. We've done plenty of stuff with IndyCar, F1 over the years, along with other stuff. And Indy 500 every year is one of my favorite races. It's a very, very exciting race. There's so much on the line. I mean, it is the biggest thing to these drivers. It means so much. It makes or breaks a career. And similar to the Daytona 500, but honestly, it's an even bigger race, and it's really exciting.
Yeah, and we talk a lot about how restrictor plate racing, these guys were touching 180, 190 miles an hour around these gigantic tracks like this, but you put it in perspective, these IndyCar guys are touching 200, if not in qualifying speed, going over 200 around this oval track. And it's well over 200 around this oval track. And they're in open, man, we saw some gnarly wrecks. We saw some gruesome wrecks. Gratefully, they all walked away from them. But
couple flips even. Like, it's these couple of weeks leading up to the race have been insane. Just the speeds that these guys are at, the wrecks that we've seen, how on edge these cars have been. It's been exciting. It's fun to have all of the on-track action leading up to the race like we've had.
Yeah, I mean, if you haven't been paying attention to the overall antics that have been on this particular track, I mean, you had the practices, then you had the million days of qualifying, and then the Fast Six, and I mean, you pretty much lived through almost a full season worth of racing over this last weekend. Now, of course, we all have skin in the game because we are all about to watch Kyle Larson, which is kind of why this ties in to the NASCAR Gambling Podcast, attempt to run all 1,100 miles of the Indianapolis 500 and the Coca-Cola 600 later on that evening. He didn't get a chance to do it last year, so he's trying it again this year in that 17 car. And to be honest with you, we're going to talk a little bit more about him later, but this is a pretty Herculean task to try to get all 1,100 miles in across state lines and just the nonsense that he's gone through already to get there.
Yeah, I mean, all of the drivers who have done it and many have accomplished running both races. I believe Tony Stewart's the only one to finish on the lead lap in both of them. So actually go the full 1,100 miles. Obviously, he attempted last year, but dude, the weather foiled that. Hopefully, knock on wood, that doesn't happen again this year, because I know some of the forecasts aren't great for either place. But hopefully we get to see a full, true 1,100 miles and get to see him do both. He was in the top 5 late in the Indy 500 last year before the speeding penalty, which we'll talk about that more later. But and then on the NASCAR side of things, he's been on a tear lately, especially the most recent race at 1.5 miles. Absolutely dominated that race. That's what they're at for the Coke 600. So, he's one of the best out there, if not the best race car driver in the world right now, Rod. And it's going to be exciting to watch him tackle this feat.
Max Verstappen has entered the chat. Alex Palou has entered the chat. Let's get that straight right now, especially we'll talk about him a little bit later as well. Look, if you've watched this show over the last couple of weeks, you've seen Cody wear his Race Officials Are Terrorists shirt. It is a brand new hit now in the merch store. You can get your hands on that one. Take it to your local track and show all your favorite race officials that they're loved and definitely to be admired by that shirt. Buy it in the merch store. And while you're there, get 20% off of everything else too, not just that shirt, everything in the merch store with the promo code DGENS. That's DEGENS. Again, we love ourselves some Race Officials Are Terrorists. I have a snazzy Racing Gambling Podcast mug that I like to drink my coffee out of every morning because I am a company man. And so, you guys all head over to the merch store right now. Get 20% off with the code DGENS, especially our DGENS line of stuff as well. It's all beautiful stuff. So, grab that while you're at it. All right, Cody, like we said, we've had this whole lead up to this Indianapolis 500 weekend. Still not necessarily done yet as we prep for it. But
Carb day tomorrow.
Yeah. Again, it's just a matter of this is a gigantic procession of pomp and circumstance, and it's been a lot of fun getting to watch it. Jimmy Johnson was in the IndyCar series last year, so we got a chance to watch that too as NASCAR fans. But if you have yet to watch any Indy at all this season, if you're a NASCAR fan, you're just kind of popping by this casually and you don't watch IndyCar, this obviously is the one to watch. But continue to watch IndyCar through the rest of the season because it's a lot of fun to keep an eye on. These guys are fast and they're good.
Yeah, for our regular listeners that are NASCAR fans that are checking this out, because it is the Indy 500, obviously you want to get in on the action. You want to watch the full day of racing. The IndyCar series is a lot of fun. Alex Palou has won 4 of the first 5 races of the season, but we haven't had any ovals yet. The Indy 500 is always different. And there's some elements of NASCAR type of racing in there. You get kind of the slipstream draft effect, and you're going to see them passing around the lead because they don't want to stay out front. We often see that in NASCAR on super speedways, trying to save the fuel, stuff like that. So there's definitely some crossover there, but yeah, this is definitely a very exciting one and one you don't want to miss. But the rest of the IndyCar season is going to be great as well. Plus, it's all on Fox this year, so easy to find. Always on every race is on Big Fox, which shout out to IndyCar for getting that pulled off. Because, that's being able to have it on the main big channel like that is great for them. Not
to mention the IndyCar commercials, probably the only ones that I don't want to fast forward through on a week-to-week basis.
So good.
Oh, they're great.
And they're pushing the edges, pushing the limits. Gotta love it. Mm-hmm. Check in with the chat. We are live over on the YouTube's NASCAR Gambling Podcast. JDK says, well, afternoon, fellas. Afternoon, evening, whatever it might be, wherever you're at. John Little says, burning the 1030 oil with the boys. Well, it's 10:15, but hey, who's counting? Doesn't matter. We're here with the picks. That's really all.
We are definitely here with the picks. Little NASCAR Gambling Podcast after dark. But we are here for the Indianapolis 500, set for 200 laps around this 2.5-mile paved Indianapolis Motor Speedway for an even 500 miles. Milk awaiting the winner at the end, whether it's skim, whether it's whole, whether it's 2%. What it's not
this year.
Oh,
nobody
selected
skim, Rod. It was all 2% or whole. So
no almond milk though. That's the
almond milk.
We had that discussion on the big show as to will you pick almond milk as your milk of choice?
Hey, there's nothing wrong with almond milk. It's all we have in this house. My daughter had issues when she was younger with the cow's milk, so we started with the almond milk. It's pretty good stuff, if I have to say so myself.
It's not bad. It's just hard to get the almond to stay still long enough to milk it. My favorite milk comes in the form of hops, and I actually was drinking earlier, and I'm done with it now. But little Peaked in the 90s IPA, not to my life.
Just like Rod, peaked in the 90s.
Peaked in the 90s, 1,000%. But what did not peak in the 90s is the IndyCar series. Cody, we talked through about that's true too, but we still love it. But yeah, so we talked through the fact that Kyle Larson is in this field. There are also a few folks that tend to peek their heads out as the Indy 500 is the only race in the year that they ever compete. I know a few of them are going for big milestone wins and all that other good stuff. So who else should we be looking for in this race?
Yeah, I mean, Helio Castroneves, he's obviously won the thing a million times. He's back trying to win another one. Takuma Sato, and Sato, too, is going to be starting on the front row. He'll start second outside of the rookie, which first rookie on the pole in 43 years. He's never even raced on an oval before, which is even more insane. But yeah, Sato's going for his third. And for Helio, I believe he's got 4 already, trying to become the first one to win 5. So yeah, those are guys that are back and trying to add to their current running total. We saw Sato do it. I think it was 2020 when he came. He's just been basically running the Indy 500 and or just ovals for quite a few years lately. But he pulled it off then. We saw Helio win it just a couple of years ago in that same role. So don't count those guys out because they obviously have done it multiple times, know how to get it done. And even though it's the only thing they're really running these days, there's a good reason for that.
I mean, I don't know. I'd cool your jets on a Castroneves win on that one. I know he did it a few years ago, but it was like 10 years. It was 11 years between his 2 wins between that one and 2021. Yeah. So
it was surprising when he did it before. He didn't make my outright card. I'm just saying, you can't ever count him out, Rob.
Yeah, you can't. But again, if we're talking about Jimmy Johnson not winning another race for the rest of his career, I'm pretty sure you can put Castroneves out there as well. But
do we want to go over the Kyle Larson rules just real quick, just so everybody's kind of in the loop, because it might affect the betting side of things
Absolutely.
As well. So both series made what I'm calling the Kyle Larson rules because they are in direct effect with Kyle Larson. So we saw last year the weather came into play in both races. It delayed the start of the Indy 500, and Larson chose to stay and complete the 500. We were told that wasn't the plan, but I think that was the plan all along, right? Then he flew to Charlotte. He was going to finish the second half of the Coke 600. Justin Allgaier started the race for him over there. He was going to jump in the car, finish the race, but that ended up being rain delayed, so he did not run any laps in NASCAR, but he completed the 500. So NASCAR gave him a waiver, allowed him to still compete in the playoffs. All that was good and fine and dandy. They changed the rule in the offseason, and it specifically states, hey, if you miss it due to another racing event, I wonder what event that could possibly be, we're not giving you a waiver. So basically, hey, Kyle Larson, we know you're going to run the 500 again. Don't miss the Coke 600. So IndyCar, in reaction to that rule, updated their rules. Previously, it had been, once a driver starts the race, nobody else can get in the car. You can't make a driver change like you used to be able to do, but they updated that rule. So now you can make a driver change. So a couple of ways this could go if weather does impact either of these races, and there is some potential that it will. So if the Indy 500 is a delayed start, Larson could still start the race, and Tony Kanaan is going to be on standby. Speaking of guys that are not doing much anymore, right? He's not, but he's ready to go if need be. He'll be on standby. He could jump into the car mid-race to replace Larson. You have to check with the book you place the bets on. If you have any Larson bets, it will probably, if Larson starts the race, no matter where Kanaan finishes, most places should grade that as Larson finishing the race, right? So you got to check the rules. Every book's going to be different. I haven't dug deep into it. I don't know which books are which way, but just kind of a heads up to watch the rules. If it's pushed back too far, Kanaan might just start the race instead of Larson. so Larson can get to Charlotte. Larson will not miss the Coca-Cola 600 in NASCAR because he's the points leader currently. Doesn't want to be out of the playoffs when he's the championship favorite, honestly. So he will not miss the NASCAR race. So if the Indy 500 is delayed, whether, during it or before it starts, whatever, Kanaan will jump in the car, finish the race. And if it's delayed too much, Kanaan might just start the race. Now, if Kanaan starts the race, your Kyle Larson tickets should be no action. But again, because he's qualified for the race, some books might have it worded weirdly. That's just kind of the disclaimer. If you do bet on Larson in the Indy 500, maybe check with the book, send them a message, keep that from support. So when they try to take it, away from you later, you can argue it or whatever. Hopefully everything goes off smoothly. Weather stays away. We get the vortex working. Kyle just goes out and runs 1,100 miles. And if you do have any bets on him, you cash them. But that's kind of the Kyle Larson rules update / books disclaimer, I suppose.
One day, it is my ultimate goal to be so damn good at what you do that they have to make rules to accommodate you to do whatever the hell you want in life. I haven't reached that point yet, but I guarantee you right now that someday when I do, I'll have a good time getting there. All right, we are going to check in with the chat afterwards, after we come back from a break, and then we're going to start laying out some of our favorite Indianapolis 500 bets. But first, let me tell you about our friends over at Edge Boost. Edge Boost is the first ever bank account that is built for bettors. You get all of your gambling transactions approved for sure. There is nobody sitting over your shoulder telling you, no, you cannot do that at all. You get no usage fees, no minimum. You can earn cashback rewards. You get 100% approval for all of your betting deposits. And if you sign up today with our promo code SGPN over at edgeboost.bet, you're going to get a deposit matched up to $25. That's edgeboost.bet, promo code SGPN. It is time for my favorite underdog fantasy pick'em. Wait, you know what? I gave you a ton of them yesterday, so you need to go back, listen to the entire episode. Cody gave you all of his favorite as well of our underdog picks for this Coca-Cola 600 from the Charlotte Motor Speedway. So go listen to that. Underdog is going long for the NBA playoffs with their extender bonus. You can hop in game one, and the longer that series goes, the bigger the bonus is going to get. Like I said, go back, listen to our favorite plays for the Charlotte Motor Speedway Coca-Cola 600. And while you're at it, sign up with our promo code RACESGPN. You're going to claim your special pick and first-time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus credits. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code RACESGPN.
First time ever, Underdog Fantasy is offering the Indy 500 as well. I have an article out, sportsgamblingpodcast.com. It's got a few of my favorite plays in there. I laid out 5 of them and kind of laid out, like, these are my 3 favorites. This is how I would kind of play it. You can multiply it up to this. It gave the whole explanation for how it works over there. So, yeah, I've been wanting IndyCar on Underdog so badly. I was sad that they didn't give it to us all season this year, but here it is for the Indy 500. Go play it, get those plays in, show them we want IndyCar. Hopefully they'll bring it back the rest of the season. Would be ideal for sure, but super glad that we have it this week. So make sure you go sign up. Use that promo code RACESGPN if you haven't already.
Absolutely ideal. Nick Fortune checking in. Good evening, Hot Rod and Sassy Cody, which is, by the way, pretty much your name now.
Nick, I heard there's a song about you that I'd like to hear sometime. So hit me up in the old DMs and let's talk about that.
Now I'm curious. Nick Fortune, he's saying great weekend of racing ahead. JDK saying if the starts late, it's worth. If it starts late, is it worth starting the 500 if he knows he won't finish? It
depends how much of, and it probably depends too. Like, so how much of the 500 would he be able to run? If he'd be able to run 300, 400 miles of it, I think that they would start it because you get that opportunity to at least run as much as possible. Wherever Kanaan finishes, I believe, I'd have to double check Indy rules, but, and especially since they just added the rule with the driver change, but usually whatever driver starts any race in any racing series is the one who scored with the, so wherever Kanaan finishes, Larson would be scored officially as the finisher there. But also, let's say the Indy 500 is delayed a little bit. You could start it. we're also watching the weather in Charlotte. That race could be impacted, but we don't know. Start the 500 because, well, if the Coke 600 suddenly gets delayed, now you can stay in the car longer. It's so many moving parts to it that I think they've probably got 15 scenarios laid out for what they're going to do. And I'm sure it's all mapped out. I'm sure they've got all the plans for flying and everything already, sent in and ready to go and all that stuff. But it's just so many moving parts. And then you start talking about delays and how much is stuff delayed and when is it delayed till which one's delayed. Hard to know exactly what they would do. But I think that they're going to make every effort for him to start the 500 at least. But, if it's delayed 2-3 hours or something like that, then, yeah, if it just depends, I guess.
Look, Kyle, if I could do the triple today, you can run all 1,100 miles of the.
Rod is on his third podcast of the day, so
yeah,
2 races, that's nothing.
No, that is absolutely nothing. Myron checking in. Haven't seen Myron in a while. Really excited for this year's Indy 500. Fox has done a great job hyping up this race.
They have killed it with the hype, and sometimes it's one of those things where it's like, NBC had it for so long, and it's just kind of the same old. But now you give it to the new guy. He comes in with all the fresh ideas. Like, here we go. Let's hype this up. I like it.
I do too. You know what I like? Bets. Let's start loading up some bets for this Indianapolis 500, Cody. Start filling up some betting cards for these folks.
Let's do that. Justin, by the way, says nothing good happens after 10 p.m. Luckily, where Rod's at, it's only 8:30. And I always say nothing good happens after 10 p.m. except Indy 500 bets, Rod. So let's get into it. I'm going to start off with a matchup that I know we both like. I heard you talking about this earlier over on the back road. Give me Christian Lundgaard over David Malukas. This is plus 105 over on DraftKings. Full disclosure, I am a Lundgaard fan. If I had a favorite, I do have a favorite IndyCar driver, and Christian Lundgaard is that guy. I've been partial to him for a few years, and I really like him. He's got 3 career starts in the Indy 500, a 13th last year, 19th, 18th in the first 2 starts. Okay, fine. Not great, right? So it is what it is. For Malukas, he did not race last year. If you're an IndyCar fan, you know this. If not, he was kind of like an up-and-coming guy, signs with Arrow McLaren going into last year. Like, oh, this great opportunity, great ride. Gets hurt in the offseason before the year, unable to start the season. McLaren ends up letting him go. Doesn't have a ride for the 500, so he did not race in the 500. But he was 23rd here in 23, 16th in 22. So not great finishes in either of those. And actually split with Lundgaard. So 3 starts for Lundgaard, 2 starts for Malukas. They're 1-1 against each other in the head-to-heads. But Malukas is at AJ Foyt Racing now. It's a good team, and actually I'm going to make a strong case for another Foyt car in a bit. But Christian Lundgaard has moved over to Arrow McLaren. So previously, he was with a lesser team. Now he's over there with McLaren, which is one of the more top. I mean, it's Penske, Ganassi, McLaren's kind of the next step as far as the hierarchy over there. But he's been having a hell of a start to the season. The last 4 races, only 5 races in the season, but the last 4, top 3 in 3 of those 4. Now, their road courses doesn't necessarily translate just to an oval. For the most part, I'm not really factoring in what you've done this season overall for most of these guys, but I think that it's notable that, hey, you give this up-and-coming driver who's shown some promise a good ride. Look how much he's taken advantage of it. Now, he's here in the Indy 500. He's starting not too bad. He is starting in the... By the way, if you didn't know, if you're one of our NASCAR fans, they do start this race 3 wide. So first, second, and third are on the front row. Third, fourth, fifth are on the second row. So he'll be in the middle of the third row, starting in the 3, 6, 7, 8th position. So yeah, he showed some speed going into this week. And some, I guess the qualifying deal, practice deal, McLaren kind of lacking a little bit. Like Larson didn't qualify well. But also they give them extra horsepower in qualifying. Qualifying is holding it balls to the wall for, 3 laps. Like a qualifying lap is 3 laps. You go out there, you put it down. The guy who sits on the pole, I wish we could fade him in some head-to-heads because he's not going to run well. I don't think he's never even raced on an oval before, but he was able to go out there, put the perfect set of laps together, sits it on the pole, don't look too much into that, I guess is what I'm trying to say. As far as speed-wise goes, the McLarens are going to be fine. Lundgaard's going to be fine. So I trust him over David Malukas in a little bit better equipment with a great start to the season. Give me some Christian Lundgaard over Malukas and, plus money at plus 105 over on DraftKings.
Yeah, I definitely love especially the fact that he's the underdog in this when he's been running so damn well this season. It's just, when you look at the standings and you see him in second place there, Lundgaard, you're like, well, where did that even come from? Because you didn't necessarily see that coming last year, but he has been doing so well that I don't understand why he's the underdog, first and foremost. And second of all, if you don't take it, then I think that's it's a little bit silly on your part. So, all right. Well, so we talked about guys starting on the front row, and Takuma Sato is one of those guys, and we talked about the fact that he's won here before, right? He's chasing after another win, and it's kind of what he does now. He just pops up at the Indy 500 and tries to win, and then if he doesn't, he just goes back to his regular life. But here's the thing. They got him in a matchup with Felix Rosenqvist over on DK. Rosenqvist is actually at plus 100, so he's at even money to win this head-to-head matchup. He's the full-time driver, right? I mean, this to me, I get it. I know that you roll out these nostalgia guys. It's almost the same case that we make for Jimmy Johnson. I mean, the heart wants what the heart wants, and I want Jimmy Johnson to win a race, but I also know that I'm happy with a top 3 finish out of Jimmy Johnson. I'm happy with a top 10 finish out of Jimmy Johnson more often than not, week to week. So for Sato, like Cody said, there's a big difference between qualifying and actual race trim. And here's the thing. He's starting in the front row with the rookie, right? With the person that's never started at an oval, and Pato O'Ward, one of the best drivers in the field, which, by the way, Alex Palou right behind Pato in the second row. You don't think that those two drivers are going to connect early on and blow past Sato, and who knows if Schwartzman actually gets a good start out of all of it. So who's waiting in the wings right behind Sato? Felix Rosenqvist in that 60 car right behind Sato. So this isn't as if Rosenqvist has to drive up through the field to beat Sato. He's just got to get off better at the start and pass him on whatever, inside, outside, I don't care. Maybe he follows O'Ward and Palou right through on the outside lane to get around Sato, and then he's not looking back. And for Rosenqvist this season, his average finish, 7.3. He's finished 7th at St. Petersburg, 5th at Thermal, 4th at Long Beach, 13th at Birmingham. I get it. I understand. None of those are all ovals, and that's fine. But at Iowa, he's got an average finish of 14.7. That is an oval. Last in the second race of the weekend at Iowa for Rosenqvist, not a good day. He started 5th, ended up finishing 26th because of a mechanical issue. But before that, 13th. 4th, 13th, 7th, right? Not bad at ovals there. What did he do at Worldwide Technology Raceway? He's got an average finish of 10th there. Last year, 6th place. The year before that, 8th, couple of 16th. But really, just that 6th place and the 60th gives me hope that he's, a fringe top 5 driver at ovals. And by and large, just really damn good this year. This is not a year that Rosenqvist has been struggling. And you're going to start him one spot, essentially, in the grid behind Sato, the guy that doesn't drive these every single week and isn't part of the series. Yeah, he's a good driver. Yeah, he's really going to probably put together a decent enough run, maybe a top 10 run. I don't know. But I know that Rosenqvist is definitely going to be jockeying for that top 5 spot by the end of the day, where I don't think Sato is. So give me Felix Rosenqvist over Takuma Sato at plus 100.
Oh, I don't know, Rod. I don't know. I don't know if you want to tempt the racing gods fading Sato, but roll with it.
I mean, honestly, you look at the last few finishes for Sato at the Indy 500, right? So last year he finished 14th. That's not really all that promising. The year before that was 7th. That's great, but 25th, 14th. He did win in 2020, but 2020 was weird, man. 2019,
yeah,
3rd.
Wasn't that like August or September Indy 500? I remember they ran it, obviously COVID year and everything. Mm-hmm. I think they ran it with no crowd, but it was like later in the year. So, oh man, that seems like such a long time ago, but what weird times those were.
Yeah, and that was in the 30 for Ray Hall Letterman. So, yeah, I don't know. Again, it's not as if I don't think he may put together a good run, but Felix Rosenqvist has been showing a lot of speed lately this season. So I'm going to go on his side.
All right. Next up for me, Rod, We're going to jump over to a guy that I absolutely fucking love this weekend, Antonio Ferrucci. You can get his top 5 over on Hard Rock plus 450. And if I had to place one bet on the Indy 500, it would be Ferrucci top 10. It's plus 145 on Bovada. If you have that, you can get it plus 110 over on MGM. They did finally post top 10 odds as well. But for Ferrucci, Rod, he has got 6 career starts here, 8th place finish last season, a 3rd place finish in 23, a 10th place finish in 2022, 6th place, a 4th place, and a 7th place. That means he is 6 for 6 finishing inside of the top 10. 6 starts here. All of them. This is not that small of a sample size. That's 6 times in the Indy 500. Every single time he's finished inside of the top 5, or inside of the top 10 rather, and you're getting plus money on his top 10 number, plus 145. It blows my mind that's even an option. He's not changed rides. He's not in a worse ride. You could argue, and maybe some argument to it, right? This whole Penske scandal deal, that's a whole nother podcast for another day to cover all of that stuff. But, Newgarden starting out back, Power starting out back. You could argue maybe those guys aren't able to work their way up, but we're going to make a different argument, at least for Newgarden in a bit. Scotty Max in a backup car after completely destroying his. So you could argue maybe the top 10's weaker this year than it's been in a few years. But even if it's not, 6 for 6, he is batting 1,000. He's not missed a single at bat yet. Why is that going to start this year? So the top 10 at plus 145, I absolutely love. And then he's already in that side of the top 10. You can get his top 5 at plus 450. And by the way, he's done that a couple of times already as well. Why not? I love it. And Ferrucci is my favorite guy to bet on this weekend, and just a fiery little guy too. I love him.
Yeah, and I like actually the fact that not a lot of people do kind of pay attention to him. He's a little bit underrated when it comes to because you get outshadowed by the Palous and the Awards and the Newgardens and even now the Lundgaards, right? I mean, but for Ferrucci, if you just kind of look, he's quietly one of the better drivers out there that nobody really pays attention to week to week. So that's why you can still grab those good numbers on his top 10s and his top 5. So I'm with you on that. All right, so here, my friend, is where I get in on Kyle Larson on this one. His top 10 number on BetMGM is minus 120. I get it. He's starting in the 7th row, right? He's starting on the inside of the 7th row, right behind DeFrancesco and Kiffin Simpson and Scott McLaughlin. Like, he's got a long way to go to get to a top 10 finish. However, he was one of the fastest cars last year when it came to the Indianapolis 500. He qualified in 5th position. He was almost going to finish inside of the top 5 were it not for a stupid speeding penalty that you chalk up to the fact that he's not used to that, right? I mean, this is something that you got to get used to, especially pitting in IndyCar versus pitting in NASCAR. It's a different technique altogether. So, yeah, okay, that's a mistake that a rookie's going to make, and rookies make that mistake all the damn time. You don't think that in whatever simulator he's in, I mean, this guy's like Lightning McQueen in Cars 3. He's running these simulators to the point where he's not going to make that mistake again. He probably replayed that mistake over and over and over again for I don't know how long after it happened, and I just don't think that's going to happen again. Like I said, he's starting in the 7th row, so he's got a little bit of work to do, but I believe that a guy like Kyle Larson is able to figure it out and to get himself past some of these guys that he's got to get by. Guys like Stingray Robb, he's got to get by that. Ed Carpenter, Connor Daly. I mean, I get Connor Daly. Yeah, he's one of the better ones out there, but, even you talk about Schwartzman, Sato, like all these guys that he could possibly get around to get inside of the top 10. I mean, that's like 4 or 5 spots that I called off already that feel like something he could do. Christian Rasmussen, he can do that. Even DeFrancesco, he could probably get around. So that whole row already, he can move up into the 5th row. Starting 3 wide, it's definitely going to be work, but we've seen these guys just chew up spots in the beginning of this race as they take off because, again, they sort of spread out and then they get single file and then they start swerving and weaving and bobbing and then they'll start overtaking. So, there's a lot of opportunity for Kyle Larson to move up. And I think a top 10 bet is where I feel the safest because that doesn't ask him to do a whole lot. Just drive fast and pass some cars, which is something he can do in his sleep. So give me Kyle Larson, top 10, minus 120.
Yeah, it has been sort of entertaining to watch Kyle Larson's odds. They, in betting, we know how it works, right? You take action on things, it shifts the lines, but they've really, more so than that, fluctuated lines based on every single practice, every single qualifying run, every single storyline that comes up. Like, blinds are just bouncing all over the place. At one point, Kyle Larson was the favorite to win the Indy 500. Should not have ever been the favorite, but if you're taking the action on it, it's getting steamed up, right? But then he goes out, he qualifies 21st. He's going to start 19th after a couple other guys had penalties. By the way, personally, I don't think starting position matters. Nobody's ever won from farther than 28th place, but usually the people who start worse than 28th place aren't very fast or good anyways. You're getting something different this time. A lot like a super speedway in NASCAR. I think, the racing is different. It's not the same, but I think you're going to be able to go from the back to the front throughout the course of 500 miles. So not too worried about where he's starting at. To get him from being the favorite or co-favorite at one point in time to now being minus 120 for just to finish inside of the top 10, when we saw it last year, he was running inside of the top 5 until the speeding penalty late. Struggled in practice. He wrecked the car a couple of times. He's also the greatest race car driver in the world right now, trying to find where the edge is. Well, he found the edge. He knows where it's at now, right? And maybe this race doesn't go great for him. We'll see. But if you want to get in on some Kyle Larson action, to get him at minus 120 for a top 10, when at one point he was the favorite, it's a lot of so much fluctuation in the lines and stuff that I think this is a great way to get in on him. And you don't have to worry about him winning. Just a top 10 for such a great race car driver who's doing it 7 days a week, basically, in this car, whatever that car is, a scooter over here, whatever he's racing. He's showing up and he's doing a good job in it. I love this bet.
Yeah, and it's not even that juiced. Like, that is what you are used to paying on a normal sports day basis is minus 120. So I love that for one of the greatest drivers in the world. All right, we'll be back with more of our picks, but first allow me to tell you about our friends over at Rhythm. Rhythm is your home for AI-backed picks and props. You could dominate the NBA playoffs, PGA, MLB, and just launched the WNBA. Rhythm knows you're going to love it. That's why they include a 7-day free trial. I basically am trying to build myself, now that the WNBA is on Rhythm, all of the models on Caitlin Clark because I would like to cash on her spectacular follow-up season to her Rookie of the Year season. So Rhythm and I, we're going to be doing some hard work this season with all of the Caitlin Clark props. Plus, Rhythm has some amazing deals going on now. 25% off a monthly subscription with promo code SGPN25 and 50% off an annual subscription with promo code SGPN50. That's RITHMM, promo code SGPN25 or SGPN50. Fantasy football season. Yes, sir. It is underway. For some, it's never, ever ended. But for those of you who are about to start entering draft season, this contest is for you. Circa Resort and Casino in Las Vegas is giving away the ultimate fantasy football experience for a 12-person league to draft in Vegas and, more importantly, be treated like a VIP that you are, by the way, for the entire stay. The winner is going to receive a 2-night stay at Circa Resort and Casino for the entire 12-person league. Make sure you're paying attention to those room assignments. That's 6 Double King rooms. They hold their draft at the Cabana at Stadium Swim with a $5,000 food and beverage credit. You want more? How about limo transportation to and from the airport? A welcome party at Legacy Club for the league. A reservation at the world's largest sportsbook with $500 beverage credit for the league. And I'm not done. A 2-hour open bar package for the league at Overhang Bar. How does that sound? Fantastic. Well, now you can enter. It's open until June the 30th. Go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/circa. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/CIR We are brought to you by MyBookie.ag. MyBookie is your place to bet on every sport, including the NBA playoffs. And for the true DGens out there, the MyBookie money bag. MyBookie accepts customers from a ton of locations. You get easy deposit and lightning fast payout using cryptocurrency. The last major tournament of the Call of Duty League is happening this weekend. And one of those matchups, Optic Texas taking on Toronto Ultra. Look, Optic Texas right now, 3-2 in the qualifiers. So is Toronto Ultra. This is going to be a knockdown, drag-out battle between two of the league's best. But I'm going to take Optic Texas in this one. -125 over Toronto Ultra. Lock me in for that one on MyBookie.ag. And you can head to MyBookie.ag, promo code SGPN, for a 100% deposit match up to $1,000. Terms and conditions apply. That's MyBookie.ag, promo code SGPN. Indeed. No one will ever call me for the Call of Duty League, and I'm okay with that. That's fine. I'll just watch them play on my television screen and be happy with it.
Well, nobody will ever call us to race an Indy 500, but we'll also watch that on our television screen and be very happy with it, Rod. So I guess we have that in common about those two things.
We certainly do. But people are calling one of the best oval racers in the world to race the IndyCar or the Indianapolis 500, Cody. So let's talk about him a little bit.
Yeah, let's do that. How about, so we're going to head over to the top manufacturer. If you're coming to us from the NASCAR world, you listen to the show, right? We'll get a little bit of both. We'll get our regular NASCAR listeners. We'll get people that are checking it out for the Indy 500. We love all of you. We're glad you're here. But top manufacturer is a bet that we often go to, over in IndyCar. There's two. There's Chevrolet and there's Honda. So we're going to go to the top Chevy market here and look at it. Basically, this is how it lines up, right? You got Pato O'Ward, Robert Schwartzman, who's on the pole, is the next best odds in here, which is insane. Josef Newgarden is next. Scott McLaughlin, Will Power, David Malukas, Christian Lundgaard, Kyle Larson's in there, Alexander Rossi, so on and so forth. So the way that I'm looking at this, Pato O'Ward is at the top of the board. Set that aside. We're going to be covered with Pato O'Ward later if he ends up getting this. So we're going to take Josef Newgarden. He's 6-1. At points, Josef Newgarden was less than 6-1 to win the race. Now he's 6-1 just to be the top finishing Chevrolet. So that takes out all the Honda guys. He doesn't have to beat Alex Palou. He doesn't have to beat Scott Dixon. He doesn't have to beat Takuma Sato. He doesn't have to beat Rosenquist. He doesn't have to beat Ericsson. He doesn't have to beat Kirkwood. He doesn't have to beat Herta. He doesn't have to beat Castroneves. None of those guys. He just has to beat the Chevrolet guys. Also, we're going to be covered with Pato O'Ward, so we're not worried about that. So now he just has to beat Robert Schwartzman. He has to beat Scotty Mack, who's going to a backup car. He has to beat Will Power, who's also starting at the back. David Malukas, we've already talked about. I like Lundgaard, but he's never finished better than 13th so far. Larson, okay, but, it really opens up a lot of stuff at 6-1 to get Josef Newgarden. Oh, by the way, Josef Newgarden won this race last year, Rod. 2 years ago. Well, he won this race 2 years ago. He's won this race back-to-back years. He is the king of the oval. A majority of the ovals. I didn't even write. I have my notebook here, all these stats. I didn't even write down Josef Newgarden's stats because it doesn't matter. He is just really fucking great at it. He wins almost every single oval that they go to. He's the king of it. He's been great at the Indy 500. It was one of those things where he's so close, finally got it. Then he did it back-to-back years. He's going to try and become the first person to do it 3 years in a row. He's got to start at the back after the whole qualifying deal again, all that stuff. Go look it up if you want to. We can talk about it more in the Discord or whatever, but I'm not worried about that. I don't think that they found the secret weapon and now these Penske cars are not going to be fast. They're going to be fast. They're going to have speed. He has to start at the back. It's going to take him some time to get up there. They are going to find their way, one way or another, to the front. He doesn't have to win this. All the Hondas every single Honda in the field can finish better than him. Doesn't matter. Just beat the other Chevys. And again, covered with a guy like O'Ward in later on bets. So give me Josef Newgarden to be the top finishing Chevrolet at 6-1.
Yeah, and honestly, too, I think we're going to talk a little bit more about him later as well. And Josef Newgarden, it's guys like that, guys that are so good at their discipline, especially on a track that they're good at, a track style that they're good at. It's almost a challenge to them to drive back up through the field. This isn't something that they're dreading. I got to think that Josef Newgarden is like, fine, put me in the back. I'll still prove to you that I'm the best oval driver in the IndyCar circuit, and I'll still be drinking that milk by the end of the day for the third straight time. So he's dangerous, and I think, this team is going to take a lot of chances to get him there. I don't know how much push to pass he'll have by the time he gets there. I'm thinking he'll be in a deficit. He'll probably try to grab somebody else's push to pass by the end of the day and rob them of it. I know they don't get it on ovals, but, if they did, that would be
hypothetically speaking.
Hypothetically speaking, if he did, he would have nothing left. His tongue would be wagging out of his helmet. But yeah, I love Newgarden as well. Doesn't scare me that he's starting in the back, and I'm with you on that one. All right, starting in the 8th row is Kyle Kirkwood. I'm going to take him as a top 5 car at plus 475 over on BetMGM. And you say to me, Rod, Kyle Kirkwood, what? Who? Kyle Kirkwood? I don't necessarily remember hearing that name a lot. Hey, guess what? He's 3rd in the points right now is Kyle Kirkwood, behind Alex Palou, behind Christian Lugard, above Pato O'Ward. I mean, it's something to be said about you being in 3rd place among these guys when Palou's running away with the entire series. Where has he finished this season in his Andretti Autosports Honda? Well, he finished 5th at St. Petersburg, 8th at Thermal. He won at Long Beach from the pole. Finished 11th at Birmingham, so kind of a rough go of it. Kind of hurt his average finish, which is now 6.3 because of it. But he's actually been a very, very solid driver all season long. Last year in this Indianapolis 500, he ended up finishing 7th after starting 11th on the grid. So, again, kind of not a huge, not a gigantic starting in the middle of the pack type of a thing, but still drove his way up to 7th in that 27 Andretti Motorsports car. So, for Kyle Kirkwood, this is one of those guys where the big flashy names sort of outshine what he's actually been able to do, not just on this track last season, but overall this year. He shouldn't be plus 475 for a top 5 when his average finish this season is 6.3. Again, I know it's not the oval. I know it's not the same kind of discipline, but sometimes when you're a driver like Kyle Kirkwood, speed is speed, right? And that's the kind of effort that you put forth no matter what kind of track that you're on, whether it's a road course, whether it's the thermal golf course that you're trying to tee up the 18th hole while you're, making the 18th turn. It doesn't matter for him, and at Iowa, he's actually had a 7th place finish in 2023 in the second race there in Iowa, and then 7th in 2024 in the first race there. So a couple of almost top 5 finishes for Kyle Kirkwood on yet another oval. I think he could get it done this week. I think plus 475 is a misprice.
Yeah, he's had a fast car. I always have trouble getting on the Kirkwood bandwagon as his quote-unquote biggest fan is, people will know who I'm talking about, but not a big fan, and that's made me not like Kirkwood, which sucks. But, I think for the price that it's at, you've definitely seen some speed, and I don't have any arguments against this one. JDK checking in saying Larson top 10 even money over on Leo Vegas for his fellow Canucks. They also have a massive slate with nationality of the winner, winning engine, team of the race winner, groups, top manufacturers, odd even winners, first time winner, yes or no, top 3s, top 5s, top 10s. We were going to possibly do this episode on Monday if we had odds out. There wasn't much, and it slowly trickled out, but now this is why we've waited until now Thursday evening to actually do this. We wanted to have a lot of different options. There's a ton of stuff out there now, which is really great. Myron was also asking, could Carb Day result in the change of the current odds? Based on what we've seen so far, I would say yes, because they've overreacted to everything that's happened. So somebody comes out and looks fast tomorrow, I think you definitely could see some odds change. So, maybe if you like some of these bets, maybe play some early, or if there's somebody higher up in the odds that you maybe they don't do great on Carb Day, you'll get a chance to get better odds. So could go either way for sure.
Indeed. All right, Cody, where are we going next?
Yeah, well, we already covered Top Chevrolet, so let's throw all those guys out. We're not going to have to worry about Award, Schwartzman, Newgarden, McLaughlin, Power, Malukas, Lundgaard, Larson. You don't have to worry about any of those guys. Now, you just got to beat all the other Hondas, Rod. And if you look at the Honda market, it's Palou, Dixon, Sato, Rosenquist, Ericsson, Kirkwood, Castroneves, Herta, Foster. Those are your Hondas. So we're going to go to the top Honda market. I'm just going to go for some longer shots. You got Palou near the top of the board. Look, he's dominating IndyCar right now. On the road courses, it's not an oval thing, but he's actually, I wrote him up, spoiler alert, in the Underdog article. He's been pretty good at the Indy 500 as well. Scott Dixon's a guy I usually bet on. I couldn't find a way to get in on him this year, which kind of made me sad. You already kind of talked about Sato. Rosenquist, I know you took him in that head-to-head, but I'm not sold on him. So I'm just jumping a little bit farther down the board. Marcus Ericsson, 14-1 is the first guy that pops up to me. Last year was horrible. He almost didn't make the field, and then he wrecked on the first lap of the Indy 500. Not how you want things to go. Throw it out, get rid of it. Let's go back to 2022 because he won this race in 2022. Then in 2023, he's leading, and there's a caution late. And IndyCar makes the decision instead of there's no overtime. Again, NASCAR world, there's overtime, extra, all that. You don't have that in IndyCar. They will just end under the caution flag if that's how it ends. With one lap to go, they wave the green and white flag at the same time, and Newgarden passed Ericsson, ends up winning that. Ericsson should have won back-to-back years. I get it. He was with Chip Ganassi then. He's now switched cars with Andretti last year. That's where he had all the struggles, and that's who he's with now. But Andretti is not this horrible team. It's not Chip Ganassi Racing. I get it, and that's why you're getting him at 14-1 here, which is great, right? You like getting the better odds. It's not the greatest car in the world. He's starting on the third row, 9th place, right? Because we start 3 wide. On the third row, didn't have a bad run in qualifying or anything there. Looked good. Had some speed there. He's been great in this race before at 14-1 to just beat the other Hondas. I don't see why this is a bad bet, taking all things into account. So, and just completely throwing out last year because everything about it was a shit show, and I'm going to cut him a break for that. Then I'm also going to take Colton Herta at 16-1 to be the top finishing Honda. So you're getting 2 guys here. You just need one of them to beat the other Hondas. It's been Herta. It's been very up and down for him in the 500, especially 23rd last year, but 9th 2 years ago, 30th a couple of years ago. So it's got some highs. He's had some lows, but maybe we've seen him turn a corner. The last time that IndyCar was on an oval race track was at the end of last year at Nashville Super Speedway there. Colton Herta won his first oval race there, Rod. Maybe figuring some stuff out. He's had some good finishes here in the past. Again, you just have to beat the other Hondas. That's all you're looking for. 16-1 for another Andretti driver. These are not bad cars. They're, again, not Ganassi cars, but they're still good cars capable of doing stuff. You just made a case for Kirkwood, another Andretti driver. I think that both of these guys are alive, and I think at 14-1 for Ericsson, 16-1 for Herta, both of them have a shot at being the top finishing Honda at the end of the day. And again, you don't have to worry about Award. You don't have to worry about Larson. You don't have to worry about Newgarden or the Penske guys, just the other Hondas. So top manufacturer, a market that I really like, and I think you can find some good value in it.
Yeah, I can't really argue with you, especially on Herta too, because he'll pop up. That's a little 26 car. You count him out for a second, and then he'll pop up, and he'll
sometimes
have a good day.
He's his own worst enemy. He gets in his own way a lot. And from the NASCAR world, we know guys like that, right? But if he has one of those days where he hits, he can hit, and he can hit hard. And that's what you're hoping to capitalize on, right? If he wrecks out early and he finishes 30th, it was 16-1. But if he shows up and has what he's capable of doing day, now you're alive with a 16-1 bet.
Speaking of hitting and hitting hard, I love me some winning car numbers, and you guys know this one. And this one is too juicy to pass up. The winning car number under 9.5 for this one, plus 110, plus money for under 9.5, when the dude that's won this race for the last couple of seasons is none other than Josef Newgarden, who drives the number 2 vehicle. I don't know. That, to me, I know he's got to work his way up through the field. I know we're going to talk more about him later, but if the number group includes him, I'm taking it. If it's a plus money, I'm even taking it more. Plus, it also gets you Scott McLaughlin. It gets you David Malukas, which we just talked about. Maybe not necessarily one of those guys that's going to win, but it gets you Pato Award. It gets you Christian Lundgaard, who we just told you is having a fantastic season. Does get you Kiffin Simpson, who's starting at a respectable clip there, but it also gets you Scott Dixon. Really, just the heavy-hitting trio of Newgarden, McLaughlin, and Dixon should already be enough, but then you throw in Pato Award and, Christian Lundgaard and any other band out on top of that. Like, I get it if you want to take the higher or the more than or the whatever, right? Over 9.5. I'm using everybody's technology at this point. For guys like Alex Palou, who's won every single race out of there, if you think accidentally Kyle Larson can win this in the 17, there's a lot more people under this number that scare me than over this number. And it's just, if you look at the concentrated part of the wins, Alex Palou has 4 wins already this season, right? And it just, to me, if you're getting the best cars out there, I can't. Kyle Kirkwood's won one race already, or 3, I'm sorry. He's won 3 races, Alex Palou. Kyle Kirkwood hit the other one. So, there's been only 4 races, and Alex Palou is responsible for 3 of those wins. Yeah, it definitely, this is not right to have it at plus money. So give me under 9.5 at plus 110 over there on, what did I say, Caesars?
Yes, I actually gave this bet out on a different appearance I made this week. I really like this as well. This is one of those bets that helps you stay in the mix until the end of the day, right? So if you want to have action, you bet on this guy, he wrecks early, or you can just tell, problem, it's not going to be his day. This gives you multiple drivers and multiple really good drivers that can get it done, all in that range. There's 4, 5, 6 guys in this number range that have not only the ability to win, but have won the last couple of years even. One guy that I just absolutely am in love with, that we'll talk about in a minute, that's in that number range as well. So this is a really fun way to get in on it, especially if you want to be a little more casual. And even if you're going full DJ like I do, it's great to get in on as well. But if you want, I want to have some action, I want to have a sweat late, you bet a number band like this, you're going to have at least one of these guys, if not multiple, in the mix late with a chance to cash that bet. And that's what makes it a lot of fun. And
that's why number bets are fun, just in general, because if you're taking the right number bet and you've got all these heavy hitters that you're covered, then, you don't care at the end of the race if it's like Newgarden battling it out with Award, battling it out with Palou, and you're like, I don't care. One of these 3 can win, and I'm just going to be a happy camper.
Yes, absolutely. JDK wondering who's driving the Creed car. There is a Creed, the band, sponsored car, Rod. I believe that's your guy, Felix Rosenquist. It is.
I think it is, yeah.
Starting there on the middle of the second row. You talked about him a little bit ago. So, if it's anything like Sheldon Creed from NASCAR, he'll probably finish in second place.
Ouch.
So
I tell you what, he will be driving with his arms wide open, just like his wheels. With wheels wide open.
Wheels wide open.
I'm done.
Yes.
Thanks, guys.
That's the end of the show. Rod's going to take off now. Really doesn't get much better than that, so probably a good note for him to end on. All right, Rod. Now we're to the portion of the show. We love this over in the NASCAR world. In football, we have the ladders. You climb the ladder, right? Which, how'd we get ladders in football? It doesn't make sense. Whatever. Doesn't matter. Shout out to JDK for helping us coin this term. We have the car lift over here in the racing world. And I am going to ride the Pato Award car lift. I love Pato Award this weekend. We're going to start that car lift with a top 5 finish over on Hard Rock plus 125. Absolutely love that bet. You can get his top 3 at 2-1 over there. You can never be the top finishing Chevrolet over on Caesars plus 290. When I originally put this in the doc, it was 4-1, but it's been hammered down a little bit now. You could still get him to win 6-1 on Bovada if you've got that. 5-1 a lot of places. And I would still take the 5-1, 6-1. Not a ton of difference there. But Pato Award, I'm absolutely in love with. My favorite guy to bet on this week. If you want to play the devil's advocate side of the Penske guys are in the back, maybe they're not going to be as much in contention. Great. That plays into the Pato Award thing. Great here. He has finished second place last season. He also finished second place here back in 2022, Rod. So 2 of the last 3 races, he's finished second. 2 years ago, in 2023, he was in second, racing for second place after leading 39 laps, got involved in a wreck and ended up finishing in 24th that year. So bad result, but was running well during the race before that. 2021, a 4th place finish. 2020, a 6th place finish. That's it. That's his 5 career starts. 2 of the last 3 of those, he's finished in second place, top 6 in 4 of those 5 starts. And again, wrecked out from second place in the other one. Pato Award has been so close so many times. Now he's got his own commercial over there on Fox. That's the one thing he's missing, right, is getting that Indy 500 win. And I think that he is going to win this race, but even if he doesn't, he's going to be in contention, right? He's going to hopefully cash that top 3. He's going to cash that top 5. Again, this is the top Chevy. We're getting covered in that market. So now you got Pato and Josef, who are actually the 2 favorites, even though we didn't go that route in the Honda road. At plus 290 for him, 6-1 for Newgarden, you're still getting good numbers and cornering the market with 2 guys that I think are clearly the best in the Chevy market. But so big on Pato O'Ward this year in the Indy 500, and I think this is the time our guy comes through. If he wins the race, you're going to cash every single leg of the car lift, right? Every single leg of the ladder, which is ideal. But even if he gets that top 3, that top 5, he's the top finishing Chevy, still going to cash each rung that he cashes of the car lift. So yeah, give me the Pato O'Ward top 5 all the way up to winning this race.
Okay. So I'll see your Pato O'Ward car lift, and I will raise you a trifecta. We know that it is horse racing season, and we are in for just a fantastic race here in and of itself. So the books are saying, well, okay, fine. We're going to treat this like a horse race and give you the trifecta. DraftKings, 50-1 for O'Ward, Alex Palou, and Josef Newgarden inside of the trifecta. So it doesn't matter if they finish first, second, third, in whatever order they finish, you're going to get 50-1 if Newgarden wins, O'Ward finishes second, Palou finishes third, Palou wins, Newgarden second, O'Ward third. Doesn't matter. If any of those combination finish inside of the top 3, you are getting 50-1. You just talked about Pato O'Ward, right? Coming up short and being just ever so close to nailing it. But let's also look at some of his finishes in some of these other ovals, right? Worldwide Technology over there at Gateway, a 3rd place in 2020, 2nd place the following race, 2nd, 4th, 2nd. Had a mechanical error last year, which forced him to finish 26th, but again, that's a lot of 2nd and 3rd place finishes there. Well, how does he do it at Iowa? Well, 4th, 12th, 2nd, 1st, 3rd, 10th, 2nd, 6th. Telling you right now, Pato O'Ward, you love him here. He's just very good overall on ovals in general. I just talked about Alex Palou winning 3 of 4 races so far this season, but at Indianapolis, 2nd, 9th, 4th, 5th, flirting with a top 3 finish, leading in 4 out of the 5 races that he's been on this track. So Alex Palou, damn good at this track too. We just said Josef Newgarden has won the last 2 races here. You get these 3 drivers in a box for 50-1, and then you don't care who wins. Like, that's what I'm saying. If O'Ward and Newgarden are fighting at the end and Palou's right there, doesn't matter. It's as long as all 3 of them finish in some kind of order there, that, my friend, is going to get you 50-1, and that is something that you will be cheering for till the bitter end of this race. So give me O'Ward, Palou, and Newgarden as the trifecta at 50-1.
Can you imagine 5 laps to go in the Indy 500 and those 3 guys are sitting inside of the top 5? Like, the sweat that will bring you. Oh, and they're all really great at this track. They're all top of their game right now. Josef's had a bit of a tough season, but he's won the last 2, so that helps a lot for sure. So yeah, this is a fun one, and again, a good fun way to get in on a big number that really has a decent shot of hitting.
Myron Kidd wants to know, can Pato O'Ward finish his story? Look, if Pato does, then all they're going to do is just give Helio Castroneves, just like they gave John Cena, the opportunity to take it away from him just a couple of months later. I don't want O'Ward to finish his story, because that would mean that we have to give somebody else the belt or the title a couple of weeks later. So, anyways.
Yeah, there you go. Leon's Automotive checking in. Been a hot minute since we've seen Leon's Automotive, but welcome. You just missed the car lift. Well, hopefully you didn't miss it. Hopefully you heard it. I know you're a car lift fan there. Going for Connor Daly for an underdog. The country isn't ready for that celebration. Sato's the long shot, become a 3-time 500 champion. And my favorite, I think, McLaughlin will be tough to beat. With McLaughlin going to the backup, some concern there. I'm not like, the thing with that is, it's Penske, and clearly they're going to go the extra mile route, if you will. But that car is going to be just as good as the primary car would have been. So, I think he'll be fine. He struggled a bit at times. Connor Daly, I wanted to bet on Connor Daly so bad, plus 125 for a top 10. I'll probably personally end up betting that just because I love to root for Daly. But I wish the number was a little bigger. He's in one of the better rides he's been in, and he's really good. I think he's got 3 top 10s in a row and like 4 out of the last 5 or something like that. I did write him up, spoiler alert, in the Underdog article, sportsgamblingpodcast.com. So go over and check that out. And I did, again, spoiler, take his better than on the Underdog side of things. So that I think is a great way to get in on him. But Rod, we are now reached our outright section. Who is going to win this race? Of course, I gave out Pato at 6-1 as part of the car lift there, but I'm also going to take Josef Newgarden's 12-1 on BetMGM. Look, he's starting out back. I get it. The whole deal. I don't care. He's won 2 in a row. He's the king of ovals, and at one point was the heavy favorite, and now you can get him at 12-1. It's just, I would feel stupid not having a bet on Josef Newgarden at 12-1 if he goes out and wins this. If he doesn't have a great race and it's like maybe they struggle, winning 3 in a row has never been done. So it's one of those things where it's like already such a tough feat, but where he's been, especially in oval racing and especially here lately, if somebody's going to do it, it's him. I wouldn't bet him at 6-1, 5-1 if he was something like that, but at 12-1, it's too good to pass up a little bit of a nibble there on Newgarden at 12-1. So I think you got to get in on it, and it's one of those that I think you'd feel really silly to miss out on such a good number when he's been such a favorite the whole entire time leading up to this. Now, and he was fast in practice and qualifying, and there's been some argument that whatever that thing they found, would it even actually help? Who knows?
The attenuator.
Yes.
That's
like
attenuator.
Does it actually help anything? Nobody knows. It's on the car from last year. Like again, we're splitting hairs. And at 12-1, it's worth the shot. At 6-1, I wouldn't bet it, but 12-1, I got to get a little nibble on Newgarden. It's Antonio Ferrucci, 25-1. Talked about him. He's 6 for 6 in the top 10. He finds himself in the position to win at the end. And while the last couple of years it's been Newgarden, the favorites won things, right? And Ericsson was a little bit of an upset, but I don't think it was crazy. We've seen some big upset winners in the Indy 500 before, and it is possible for guys to win this. Ferrucci's a guy that keeps himself in play literally every time he's been in this race. 25-1 over on DraftKings. I like it. I like a little bit of play. He's my favorite bet of the week is his top 10. But I like a little nibble on him to win at 25-1. And gonna go a little fanboy. Give me Christian Lundgaard 28-1. Again, it's not the best results. 13th is the best he's done in his 3 starts, but now he's in a bigger, better, faster car in that Aero McLaren. Maybe things line up well for him, and we've seen him run well this season, so he's got that momentum, and they've built something already quickly. Maybe that the stepping up in car was the step he needed. Maybe he gets it done. I'm going to be rooting for it, and this is one of those races where if you do have somebody you want to root for and you get them at a good enough number, why not play it? So give me Christian Lundgaard at 28-1.
I can't argue with any of those, especially, I really do like Newgarden, especially at 12-1. If any team is going to find a way to rip his way through it, it is going to be Newgarden. There's too much at stake here, I think, for them to let this safety device infringement ruin his weekend. So I'm with you on that one. All right, well then, all that's really left for me is to pick some guy that's starting on the second row named Scott Dixon at 9-1 over on FanDuel. This is a fantastic price for Scott Dixon, who, we say that Newgarden is the king of the oval, but Scott Dixon, look, he's got 6 podiums and 22 starts. I know that's tough to translate into because we don't get really top 10 finishes, so it's rough there. But the last 2 races, he finished 6th in 2023, 3rd in 2024. He started on the pole, actually, in 2021 and 2022. He finished 2nd in 2020. His average finish here is 10.5, so really, really solid runs for Scott Dixon. He is starting in the second row, but let's expand this a little bit. We talked about how good are you at ovals. Well, man, I'm telling you right now, Scott Dixon at Iowa, even especially, a string of top 10 finishes from 2019 to now. And they go there twice. So 2019, he got a second place finish in that race there. 2020, a second place finish. The second race of 2020, fifth, 4th, 6th, 4th, 4th. We're talking a guy that is consistently in and around the top 5 at the Oval at Iowa. How about at Gateway? Well, he won in 2023 after starting 16th. He finished 11th last year, unfortunately, but he does have another win in 2020 at Gateway, a 5th place also in 2020, 3rd place in 2018, 2nd place in 2017. Scott Dixon's just as good, if not, I don't want to say better, because Newgarden's got a couple of the key wins on there, but Scott Dixon, damn good at ovals, and he's sitting right now 6th place overall in the points with an average finish of 8th place overall this season. 2nd place at St. Petersburg, 10th at Thermal, 8th at Long Beach, 12th at Birmingham. I mean, again, 9-1 for a guy that's in the second row right now is, I feel like it's kind of obscene given how good he is on ovals altogether. And, you know, he's starting right behind the pole sitter. So all you got to do is jump out, you know, and pass the pole sitter and lead some laps and try to get yourself to stay in front. But, yeah, if anybody can do it, I think Scott Dixon at 9-1, that's a hell of a number. I'll take that all day.
Yes, I love this play. I'm so glad you worked him in. I was sad that I just didn't find a way to get in on him, but I love Scott Dixon. If this turns into a field mileage race, nobody else I'd rather have my odds have. Oh boy, I don't know what I was trying to say there. Nobody else I'd rather have if it was a field mileage race. Man, I had some money on him a couple of years ago. He had dominated the race, had it wrapped up, sped on pit road. Not just rookies that make that mistake, right? Even the Iceman can do it, but ruined his chance at winning that year. But he is alive in this race every single year. So, I like this play as well. JDK going back to the part there says he saw a good breakdown, talking how there's no laminar flow over that part. So smoothing the edges would have zero advantage. It's just a thing that's against the rules, which, hey, rules are rules and you got to follow the rules. But that's the thing is I don't know that it really made much of a difference. So not having it now, I don't think is going to matter. And then Myron saying Connor Daly getting a lot of love at 28 or 25-1 by a lot of folks. I don't mind it. We've seen him be out front, lead a lot of laps. He's when he takes the lead, the whole crowd goes crazy. He's a local Indiana kid. His stepfather is actually the president of the track, I think, or something like that. I don't think he was one of the guys that was fired this week. Hard to keep track. But yeah, and he's a fan favorite. I love Connor Daly. So it's one of those deals where if you want to bet on him because you like him, do it because he does have a shot. He's in a Hunkos Hollinger car. Not the greatest cars out there, but best ride he's had in a while, and he manages to be in the top 10 almost every single time. So, I can't fault you if you want to bet Daily.
Indeed. All right, get out your pen and paper. It is time to go over our bets for this Indianapolis 500 packed episode. So you have to make sure you have a lot of lead on you, or make sure that pen is full of ink. Cody started you out with Christian Lundgaard over David Malakas at plus 105 over on DraftKings. I said Felix Rosenquist would finish better than Takuma Sato at even money over on DK, plus 100 for that. Cody said Santino Ferrucci would be a top 5 car at plus 450. His top 10 number set at plus 145 on Bovada or plus 110 on MGM if that is your only option. I said, look, the only Kyle Larson bet that you should probably make in the Indy 500 is his top 10 bet. Minus 120 over on BetMGM. That is where both of us are comfortable taking him, so I figure that's a good place to go. Cody said that Josef Newgarden would be a shoo-in for Top Chevy at 6-1. I said Kyle Kirkwood as a top 5 car at plus 475 over on BetMGM. Cody said that Marcus Ericsson would be the top Honda at 14-1, or Colton Herta at 16-1 for that one as well. I said look out for the winning car number under 9.5 at plus 110 on Caesars. Cody's riding the Pato Award car lift, taking the top 3 at 2-1, the top 5 at plus 125, the top Chevy at plus 290, and to win at 6-1. I want the trifecta. Man, I want this sweat so bad. Award, Palou, and Newgarden adds the trifecta at 50-1 over on DK. Box those babies up and let's roll. I'm ready for that. And then Cody said Josef Newgarden 12-1 over on BetMGM. Santino Ferrucci at 25-1 on DraftKings, and Christian Lundgaard at 28-1 to win the race. Say Scott Dixon, give me Scott Dixon 9-1 on FanDuel to sneakily win this race and start drinking milk at the end of the day. Would Scott Dixon drink skim? Or no, well, you said no skim. Would Scott Dixon drink 2% or whole?
I had it pulled up earlier. I'd have to pull up the milk choices for the 500 again, because they do all declare beforehand. Scott Dixon where is he at, Rod? He is a whole milk guy.
I think I would have gone that way. I would have taken that one on Scott Dixon. I would have figured him for a whole milk guy.
Yeah, I think a majority of the field. So 33 drivers, 28 chose whole milk. Only 5 went with the 2%. So most of them are on the whole milk. But Castroneves, Daly, they both went with the 2%, along with who else? Alexander Rossi, Ray Hall, and Sato. Those are your 2%ers.
Are you a 2%er or are you a whole?
Again, almond milk guy over here.
That's true. That's true. But no, I mean, your daughter has a problem. Before the whole thing? What were you?
This is what we drink here. I'm more of a 2%. I'll drink whatever fucking milk there is, Rod. I don't care.
I'm a 2% guy. I can't whole milk.
Whatever milk you want to give me, I'll drink it. And if it's winning the Indy 500, I'll fucking dump the whole cow on top of me. I don't care. I'll take it.
I love it. JDK saying great breakdown, fellas. Thank you. We love talking Indy. We don't get to do it enough.
So especially the Indy. I mean, yeah, I wish there was enough to be able to do the IndyCar gambling podcast every week. That would be great. But it's not there yet. Maybe we'll get there someday. But Indy 500, it really is one of the greatest races of the year. We have a ton of fun. So thanks to everybody who joined us, whether it was live here in the comments, whether you're listening to this later on the podcast, YouTube, whatever it is. We really appreciate it. If you're a regular NASCAR listener, listen to this bonus episode. If you're an IndyCar person that's kind of stumbled upon us, checking it out, hey, click that subscribe button, hit the like. We appreciate all those things. Those help us out. And join us next week for more NASCAR talk. And stay tuned to our YouTube. We always have tons of stuff over there for a little bit of everything. So we really appreciate it.
We definitely appreciate it. And, come back next week as we break down more NASCAR. And, stick around. All right, Cody. Well, then, let's put everybody to bed. Or for those of you who are listening tomorrow, I mean, go to bed anyways. I don't care. Just if you're driving, pull over. And, that's all we ask out of it. So, hey, don't miss the Weenie 500 tomorrow. And if you don't know what that is, they are putting 6 of the Oscar Mayer Wienermobiles on the Indy track. And I got a breakdown for you. I got my picks for the DraftKings contest over on the YouTube. So check that out. I believe it's 2:00 Eastern time tomorrow, streaming it. It's like Fox Sports app, streaming it live on Facebook. So pretty fun, little cool thing there. So check it out. Have you ever seen one in real life?
I have seen a real life wiener before, Rod. Wienermobile before. I've seen a real life Wienermobile before. That's what I meant to say.
This truly is NASCAR Gambling Podcast After Dark shit. We better go before we get in trouble. Cody.
All right. Follow me over on the X at Husker_ZB. You can find all my stuff there. If you're interested in more of the underdog picks, I do have that article out over there, along with the Best Bets article for Indy, Best Bets article for NASCAR, tons and tons of other stuff, some NHL stuff, NFL stuff in the works, a bunch of AF1 content as well if you're into the arena football game, which is great. And, see you guys next week for Nashville talk in the NASCAR world. Until then, good luck this weekend. Enjoy just so much racing this weekend. It's beautiful, beautiful week. And also Memorial Day weekend as well. We're both veterans served. And so to all our brothers and sisters that we've lost and have paid that ultimate sacrifice so we can have all this racing this weekend, we owe it all to them. So shout out to them. And we love and appreciate all of them.
Indeed. Shout out Jesse Meisner, brother to me growing up. Not necessarily my real brother, but close enough to be a brother. Lost his life in Iraq a few years ago. So, definitely remembering him this weekend and dedicating, I guess, this whole weekend to him as well. But follow me on Twitter at RJ Villagomez. Link in the bio, everything I got going on, whether it's here. Make sure you go check out the Back Road. Earlier tonight, I guess, it was me and Elliot talking all things racing this weekend. And, lots of other fun special goodies on that page as well. We'll see you guys next week for some Nashville. Good old-fashioned country music. Whatever, I'm going to get out of here before I get into more trouble. So, until then, ladies and gentlemen, let's go racing and let it ride.